Hello everybody, what's up my Lotus buds? How y'all doing? I hope you guys are blossoming well, blossoming beautifully. I'm sorry, I just have a hard time getting my words out every time I try to speak or like do readings and go live, or I don't know, my words be jumbled. But today I wanted to share a video with you guys on who is Jesus Christ. And this is just from my perspective, okay? Again, this is my perspective. I am not looking to change anybody's views. I'm not looking to change anybody's religion or anything like that. I'm just putting this video out there for the ones with the intention for the people that it's meant for. The people that are supposed to see it will see it, you know? And if you are one of those people and it resonates with you and you like what I'm saying, don't be afraid to hit the subscribe button. I will be coming with more videos with more knowledge and just divine downloads and just words of encouragement to get through the murky waters that we grow in, because we're lotuses and, you know, we grow in mud, so it's okay. So I'm gonna start off by saying I have had the pleasure of connecting on Facebook with a metaphysical pastor, and she goes by Blackfire. She started the self-realization of a goddess course to help women tap back into their femininity and their divine role as a goddess, and to remember who they are and to remember to value themselves and their worth. And she has created a metaphysical Bible to teach you how to read the Bible metaphysically, to uncover the layers that is within the Bible, and teach you how to break down words to get the root of a word, to get to the root of a word and its meaning, which is etymology. Teaching you how to use etymology when you're reading the Bible, and allow that to give you different downloads of what the Bible, what message it is giving, because there's multiple messages in the Bible. And since I've purchased her metaphysical Bible, it has really gave me a totally new look and perspective on Christianity itself. I stepped away from religion in 2016. I read a verse that said something about us, if we were slaves when we lived, we would die slaves and things like that. And at the time, I was reading the Bible literally, you know, so when I seen that, I was completely turned off, because in my mind, the God that I pray to, the God that I know, the God that created me, did not create me to be a slave. So when I seen that in the Bible, it was just like a complete turn off to me, and I turned away. And this was in 2016, and I made it a point to get to know God outside of religion. Like, I was wondering, and I would ask, if I was never taken to church as a child and raised by my grandmother and my mother, to think that this is the way that I need to go to connect with God, how would I have my connection with him? How would I know who God is if religion wasn't forced upon me? Let's be real. Christianity is normally just forced upon you. You don't choose it. You just grow up being a Christian, right? So I asked that question, and I dared to be different, and I stepped outside of the box, and I stepped away from religion itself. At the time, I did have a negative view on the Bible. I really just I couldn't get with it. I didn't like the way, I didn't like the message. At the time, I didn't like the message. And that brings me to, because I wrote all this down, so that brings me to say this. The message is perfect. The message in the Bible is perfect. There is nothing wrong with the Bible. We all know that it was written in ways to keep people enslaved. So when you and they teach you in church, in Christianity, to read with discernment, you know, read with discernment. You have to put on spiritual eyes to go in and pull out the messages that you're supposed to be pulling out from it. You're not supposed to be taking it literal, okay? It's a metaphor. The Bible is a metaphor for yourself. So, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The message is perfect. It wasn't anything wrong with the message. It was never anything wrong with the message that is being taught in the Bible. It's the way the message is being told. So overall, to me, like, I'm not a religious person. I don't believe in religion. I'm not even gonna say I don't believe in religion, because it does work for people, you know, but I'm one of those people that I don't need a religion to feel like I'm connected to source, or to feel like you know, this is how I navigate through life. Or, you know, some people need it, and that's them, that's their divine path. And there's other people that they don't need that. They are their own connection to source. They are their own divine, you know, vessel to source, and they understand that. They're fine with that. Some people need, you know, to religion and to pray to something outside of themselves. So that's fine and well, you know, wherever you are, that's exactly where you're supposed to be. It's not a one size fit all. We're all unique, and we all have different ways of getting to levels of enlightenment, which is really what I believe in. With all religion, you know, they're just teaching you different ways to get to a higher consciousness, Christ consciousness. With Christianity, though, we're taught to look at Jesus as a person outside of ourselves, that died on the cross to save us from our sins. And whether Jesus was an actual person or not, whether he walked this world or not, is not, that's an argument out there, but I'm not here to argue that today. It doesn't matter to me. I just like his story, and what it stands for. So whether he was real and walked this earth or not ain't my business, but I just know one thing: the story and the metaphors and the word that you get out of the Bible and his story, it applies to your life. It applies to me, and it works. So that's that. What I can say is, though, like I said, the Bible is a metaphor for you, and so is Jesus, Yeshua, your Lord and Savior, however you choose to view him. He is simply a metaphor for you. That's one thing that I can say about the Bible and the message of it being taught wrong. We are always we were taught to look at creation, like our creator, and which is God and Jesus, as if they're outside of us and we're separated from them, and there's a disconnect. That's the point of the cross. They teach that there's you know, the Holy Trinity, there's God, and Jesus is our connection to get to God. That's what they teach. Well, that's what I've been taught about the cross in church or whatever. And since I've stepped away from religion, I've come to the knowledge and the realization that you are not separated from God. You are not separated from Jesus. And listen, I go off of what the Bible says. Jesus himself said that he did not want anybody praying to him as if he was God, because he's not. Okay, that was one of the main things that turned me off too, because the Bible literally, he said it himself. Okay, this is not me. This is all from my Father. And a lot of Christians, when anything good happen, or, you know, if they're in a low place and they need help, they're blessing Jesus, or they're thanking Jesus, and they're praying to Jesus. But he's always made it clear that he's literally just an example of what you can become. He's made it clear in the word that, you know, everything that he can do, you can do too. If you believe in his Father, if you believe in his Creator, you can do the same works that he did, okay? Which is why I believe Jesus is just a metaphor for you, whether he was real or not. But when you read that story and you see Jesus and you see his name, you should be taking that as they're talking about you, yourself. It's you. They say Christ dwells within you because Christ is you. He dwells within you. He dwells in your heart because he is you. have cultivated a bad relationship with the church over the years. Praying for a change as a child, I would I had a tough childhood. I went through a lot as a child. I experienced a lot: homelessness, being hungry, not knowing if it's gonna be something to eat when you get home later that day, if you're gonna eat that day, not having clean clothes, just a lot of stuff that children shouldn't go through. I went through a lot of stuff that children shouldn't see. I've seen, so I had a tough life, and I was blessed to be able to be raised in church and to have a understanding of God, even as a Christian. I've always had a will to know more about God, a fire inside of me to be close to Him. So I don't even know why I spoke on that. Maybe I needed to, because it has nothing to do with what I have wrote down here, but maybe I just needed to say it. But as a child, I would question a lot, like, why would God bring me into this world and allow me to live the life that I was experiencing? I was very angry with Him, especially when I left religion, and up until recently, I was still angry with Him. And I was angry with my parents. I was angry at life. I was angry at people that have done things to me, like my trespassers, people that have hurt me, people that I trusted to, take care of me, and they dropped the ball, which is why He says you never put your trust in man, because surely they will fail you. But I was angry, and most importantly, the key to my locked doors, the key to everything, I was angry at myself, and that's right there. Remember that. I was angry at myself. Most importantly, I was angry at myself. And that's a major key that's going to shift everything. I was angry at myself. So like I said, I stepped away from religion, and I was desperate to know God in another way. And I wanted to experience it outside of Christianity. And I most definitely have, A lot of the questions and answers I was looking for have been revealed and answered. One of my biggest problems I had was feeling like Jesus didn't answer my prayers. And I felt that for the longest, my prayers were falling on deaf ears, and I was right. To a certain extent, I was right. And I felt like He wasn't answering my prayers because as a child, I would pray to, can you just get us a home and get us a stable environment to stay in. I'm tired of sleeping on people's couches, or I'm tired of not, coming home from school one day and we ain't got a place to stay no more. Things like that. I just was praying for God to change it, praying to Jesus to change it, praying to God, whoever was listening as a child, I was praying for a change. And I feel like they fell on deaf ears for the longest, and I was right, because I was praying to a source outside of myself, when all along I've been praying to myself. So as a child, I was praying to a source outside of myself, but the whole time I was praying to myself. And I say that I was praying to myself because about 2 years ago, one day, I was going through a tough time, and I was having a mental breakdown. And I just was just fussing, going off, spazzing off at everything, everybody, at the situation, at God, just extremely angry, and just crying, and just going off God, why would you allow this life, and why am I here, and da-da-da-da-da. And it was I had an extreme moment of clarity, and I had a pure, deep inner knowing, that there was not one prayer that I have ever prayed that God didn't answer in that moment. Every prayer that I had prayed since a child, it was delivered. And I went even deeper to analyze how these prayers were delivered and how they were answered. And things that didn't happen, and the things didn't happen in a magical way that you would expect, how they show on movies and things like that. It wasn't some big spiritual experience. It didn't happen like that. And And at the same time, it still was magical and mystical, but it wasn't how I was expecting to see it, you know? People that were and are connected to, you know, consciousness and divine source were used to deliver my prayers and my blessings. And ultimately, that is a wild supernatural thing, you know, like what I was expecting. Ultimately, it was a magical way because God was using people around me to answer these prayers and to get me to places that I need to be. So, you know, like he was using people around me that was connected to him to answer my prayers. But on top of that, when I sat back and thought about the prayers I prayed as a child and how they manifested as a teen and as an adult, the only common denominator in it all was me. I got up and I did the work and I brought them to fruition. So when I say that is like I was praying for years as a child for a stable place to live, a stable home, for just stability, just to feel secure and to feel safe and to know like I don't have to worry about my next meal. I don't have to worry about if I'm gonna have a place to lay my head at night. I'm not gonna have to worry about if I have transportation to get to where I need to get things done, you know. These are prayers that I was praying as a kid, shit that I should not have been worried about as a kid. I was praying for these things. And as I got older and became of age to be able to get all of these things, I received what I was praying for. I brought them to fruition. And in Christianity, they would say like this, an example of faith without work is dead. You know, you can't be praying for something without putting the work in. It's dead. But if prayer works the way that they say it did, then why wasn't my prayers as a child being answered when I needed it most? Because I was a child. I was a child praying to God for these things. So why weren't they answered? You know, why would God not want to provide for the children that's in his world that he created, that is in need, that is hurting? Why would he not want to? You know, why would he just leave me in that situation and wouldn't help one of his creations, an innocent child, you know, and have been through everything that I've been through, had seen and experienced everything that I experienced? Why would he not answer my questions and my prayers, you know? Why would I have to endure years of trauma only to have my prayers answered once I was old enough to take care of myself legally? You know, this guided me to my truth that the Christ in me, my higher self, my connection to source energy was always listening and there for me. There wasn't much we could do then because I was a child. I couldn't do anything because I was a child. And I'm praying these prayers, but I can't pray on the behalf of my mom. You know, I can't get up and do the work for my mom. My mom would have had to get up and do the work herself and been praying them prayers and putting the legwork in and the action in behind her prayers to change her situation. And it would have ultimately changed for me, but she wasn't doing that. And I'm not going to say she wasn't. She was praying, but she like I said, she didn't know the correct way to go about it, you know. And I'm learning now, and thank God I am learning now, because I am in a place to where, you know, I can teach my mom, you know. And I don't mean to be telling her business, but a lot hasn't really changed since I was a child for my mom. She's in the same place that she was in when I was a child. And now that I am where I am, I can teach her what I'm learning within my life and applying to my life. And once I get to where I need to be, I can go and I can teach her if she's willing to learn. But that's off subject. Let's get back to what we're talking about. But like I was saying, there wasn't a time that, you know, I was praying and I wasn't heard. It just wasn't much that, you know, I could do, my higher self can do, or the creator could do, because I was a kid. And even as an adult, after my first awakening, I still was looking for a source outside of myself. You know, I just recently came to, that's why I'm making this video, because I recently just came to terms with understanding that I am the creator of my reality. Okay. So a part of the reason why I was looking for sources outside of myself, because I wasn't accepting the full truth. And the full truth is like I said, I am the creator of my reality, and I was only really willing to accept one side of that truth. I only wanted to be creator of all of my good. I didn't want to take accountability for the bad that I was creating in my life, and the negative circumstances that I was bringing to myself, and the hardship and the experiences that I still was creating as an adult that I was trying to pray my way out of as a child. I wasn't taking accountability and ownership of me creating these low vibrational experiences. I just couldn't accept that I was creating the bad in my world. And because of that, I couldn't fully accept my position as the lead role in my life. I couldn't fully accept my position as the creator of my life because I was still handing over my power to somebody else. I was looking for somebody else to take the blame for what I didn't want to create, you know? So overall, because I was doing that, I wasn't taking ownership of anything. I wasn't taking ownership of creating the good or the bad, you know? So if I couldn't take the ownership of me creating the bad, I'm not going to be able to create the good. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah, you can't claim one without the other, you know? So I had recently came to this realization that I created every experience in my life. Like, I created that, you know? Even as a child, I chose my parents. I chose to come here. I chose my life. I chose my blueprint. I chose my mission. I knew what I was signing up for before I was sent here. So I just had to come to the realization that, you know, like, I am fully in charge of my life and myself. Where I am today, where I was in the past, and where I will be in the future. It's all based off of me and what I choose to create. And that was because I had to accept the fact that I am my own Messiah. I am the Christ that I am looking for. That is within me. I just have to get in alignment and raise my vibrations to reach Christ consciousness. You know, that's the goal that we're all trying to reach. So after 6 years of searching for like truth and what felt right and whole and peaceful to my spirit, you know, to be whole is to be at peace. So what felt whole and peaceful to my spirit, I spent 6 years searching everywhere for this, you know, and I found the answers in the exact thing that I was running from. The exact thing that I didn't want to, you know, indulge in, you know, in the Bible. Not saying it was Christianity, but in the Bible. That's one thing that I never denounced, that the Bible was true. I never denounced that. I never felt like it wasn't, but it was just hard for me to trust it because I know, like, you know, how much it's been rewritten and how they use wordplay in the Bible to enslave us for years. Even now to this day, there's a lot of people that's enslaved off of the Bible because they're not reading it right. So after a long 6 years of running and searching, though, it brought me back full circle, 360, full circle. It's a cycle, and the cycle is completed now. So I'm ending the cycle, and it brought me back to where I should have been indulging into and learning in the first place, was the Bible. I've unlearned and I've learned a lot, and I have a long way to go. I have so much more to learn. Like, you know, I always will have far to go. It doesn't matter, you know, if I look back on this a year from now and I'm way further than where I am today, I'm still going to have more to learn because life is a classroom. You know, we're all long-standing students in the class of life. So I just wanted to share this with you all and share my lessons and share my blessings and my downloads and my insight and my growth and my healing. And just let you guys know, like, my perspective on what Christ is and how I came to a moment of clarity and peace with taking accountability and ownership of my life and creating the world that I want to create, you know. There was a moment in time, and, you know, if you are coming from other social media platforms or know me locally, You know, I was very open. This last 2 years, I've been very open with my journey and what I've been going through, you know, and there was a method to my madness. I was open and sharing everything. A lot of people had a lot to say about it, but I was open and sharing everything for a reason, because a lot of the times, like, you don't see the hardships that people go through to become successful, to change, and success is whatever it looks like for you, you know. You don't see the mud that they had to grow through to become that lotus. You don't see it. You know, a lot of people, they just want to show off the pretty petals and the flower that they bloom into. They don't want you to see that mud that they had to go through to get there, you know. So I purposely broadcast all of that because I know where I'm gonna go and I know who I'm gonna become, and I want people to be able to say, like, you know, she wasn't always this person, you know, she has grown a lot. And I want them to be able to know for a fact that that was nothing and no one but the Creator, God, the Most High, I am, you know, Allah. I want people to be able to look at me and know that the change that they see on me was nothing but a divine intervention from our Creator. That was divine. It is divine. I want them to be able to know God did that for her. He can do it for me. So that's why I shared everything so openly and vividly, because I ain't with faking the funk. If I ain't got it together, I ain't got it together. You know, we all have our highs and our lows, and I'm just not one of them people that like to fake through my lows as if I'm still high, because when you're doing that, you're not really actually healing. To me, I don't feel like you're actually healing or addressing the situation at hand, because you're just, you know, ignoring it. You're not really actually diving into it head first. And, you know, I'm a cusp Taurus and Gemini, you know, so I was born May 20th, but the time I was born makes me a Gemini. So that's the bull in me, like wanting to just face things head on. That's the Taurus in me. Like, I'm not gonna shy away from anything. Oh, it's some commotion, it's some adversary coming up. Well, let's go. Let's get into it. Let's go to war, you know. Don't wave that red flag in front of me, baby, because I'm gonna go crazy. I'm the raging bull. So yeah, I'm one of them people, and I don't like to hide it. I'm not gonna hide it, because then I'm not being authentic. I want people to know what they're getting into at all times with me, you know. I'm still learning, I'm still growing, and I'm still, you know, shaving off the parts of myself that don't need to be there, you know. I like to look at it as what's that art called when you sculpt clay and stuff? Pottery. Or stuff like that, ceramics. But yeah, I just wanted to share this video to give you an insight of who Christ is to me and what I believe Christ is, and maybe hopefully it'll help a lot of you understand better, even if you are a Christian, you know, like, even if you are a Christian, there's nothing wrong with the religion, but it's the way that it's being taught. And if we don't wake up and learn that we are not teaching this religion right, we're not reading this book how it's supposed to be read, and we're not moving how God intended us to move, a lot of the things that you see going on in the world today will continue to happen. The Roe versus Wade situation, things like that, they literally are taking away people's rights. They're taking away women's rights based off of a Bible, based off the Bible, based off of a book that tells you that you govern your own body. Nobody has rights over your body. But the government is taking away women's rights in the name of Christianity. And Christianity is not about any of that. Christianity wants you to be free and govern yourself, to be sovereign, to be connected to source, and to live by universal laws. We don't need these laws made by these people. We don't need it. We already have laws. They're in the Bible. If we really just study this Bible how we're supposed to, and really just get into the text how we're supposed to, and go look up original texts of the Bible, because there's a lot of things that's been taken out of the Bible to fit their narrative. If we go dive into this and do research and really get back to the girth of everything, the beginning, the dark matter, the mother, like if we really get back to the beginning, like the start of everything, A lot of the stuff that goes on in the world today would not be able to prevail because a lot of people will stand in their power. They will take the power that they were born with, divinely born with, back. So that's the purpose of me sharing this video, making this video. I want you guys to just tap in. Remember who you are. Like, there's nothing wrong with Christianity. If you do decide to be a Christian, it's just make sure that you put on them glasses. Ask questions. Think outside the box. Questions that you would have never asked your pastor before. You would have never asked before because it would have been deemed wrong or, whatever, however it may be. It's time to start asking those questions. It's time to get to the root, the facts of everything, and just teach this in the right way. It's time for us to bridge that disconnect that was created in Christianity. We were never disconnected. What happened? We forgot the spiritual aspect. So for me, I would say, after going and searching over all the years, I'm going to always be spiritual. Always be spiritual. I'm going to put my spirit first. And that is because that's what I was taught to do by God when I left religion, was to put my spirit first and to, know that he has me and to trust in him. So, if this resonates with you, go ahead and hit that subscribe, hit that like button, and just hit the bell for future posts and future things that'll come up that you may be interested in, that I'm going to share with you guys. I'm going to, as I'm going through the metaphysical Bible, I'm making my own notes and I'm getting my own downloads that I'm going to make different videos about. I already have one that I want to create about what it means to be chosen. That's the next video I'm going to create. So if you want to, tune into that, please do. Feel free to, because I'm going to give you a hint. We are all chosen. We are all chosen. And I'll break it down some more when I make the video. But we are all God's chosen people, okay? We are all chosen. We're just all chosen for different things, different missions, and different paths. But we'll get deeper into that next week when I drop my next video next week. I'm going to drop videos weekly on different subjects that we're going to talk about. And I'm doing that to pace myself. I'm not going to promise you guys anything, that I probably can't stick to. But I know for a fact I can sit down and record one video, a week and share it with you guys. And as time goes on, if I get more time and more freedom, because I got to work and everything else with inflation. But as time goes on and God allows it, I'll share more of my knowledge and more of my downloads with you guys. Maybe we can go from one video and to whoever knows. That's for the future to know, okay? But I just wanted to leave you guys with this, God can and will provide when you open your heart to know it in your own way. In your own unique way. It's another thing that Christianity teaches you is God is a man. God is not a man. God is not a man. God is energy. God is pure energy. Simply pure energy. He is not a man. He is divine. He, she, them. I think them fits better. Them, they. Those are his pronouns. Those are its pronouns. I keep saying, see, because I'm still breaking the construct that was put on me in Christianity. So, bear with me. But its pronouns are they and them. God does not conform to gender. And that's another thing that they did with the Bible and the word to have us misconstrued and not really on the right path. That's another thing that they did. God is strictly energy. It's strictly energy. And if you would like to put some pronouns on them, it's they and them, because God is man and woman. It's feminine and masculine energy. that's what God is, you know, like the feminine is the dark, the masculine is the light. They come together and create us as a whole. But yeah, so God can and will provide to you. You just have to open your heart and connect with him in your own unique way, you know, like you have to find your own unique way to come into fellowship with God, to get that sacred space and that divine relationship, and that divine just sitting still and just feeling his love, his love, her love, however you want to view it, however you choose to view it. And I guess for me, I would say his, because at the time I have I have issues with both mother and paternal, but right now, like, paternal love is what I'm needing, so that's what I'll refer to it as, my father, because, you know, it shows up where you lack, you know, it's carrying you where you lack. And right now I feel like I have lacked that paternal love for a long time, and it stirred me down a lot of paths. So I'm gonna refer to it as he, father, for now, until, you know, I get healed in that aspect. You know, that's just my take. It has nothing to do with anything. I just wanted to share that. But yeah, and I want to leave you guys with this quote. It's not easy to leave your mark. You've got to earn your mark by doing something big for something bigger than yourself. And I got that from The Good Dinosaur, the movie on Disney, The Good Dinosaur. And when I heard it, it really spoke to me. So I'm gonna say it again. It's not easy to leave your mark. You've got to earn your mark by doing something big for something bigger than yourself. So I have really got a deep message from that. And maybe I can make another video to go deeper into context about that. But like I said, you are Jesus. And Jesus left his mark because he was committed to something that was way bigger than himself. He gave his life for something that was way bigger than himself, and that's how he left his mark. So you have to go out and you find what it is that God has planned for you, divinely orchestrated for you. And you put your time and your energy to that. You focus and you study on that, and you work hard to leave your mark. You want to leave the world with something that they can remember you by. We remember a lot of people that don't deserve to be remembered. Columbus, Thomas Jefferson, and Abraham Lincoln, and all of these other people that they weren't really great people. But America remembers them to the fullest. You can be the next person that the next generation is learning and reading about in their history book. You can be that person. You can be the next person that's in the next Bible for the next generations to come. Because who knows where civilization is going to go. And we're all making our mark and creating history. So it's important that you choose today, what kind of history do you want to create, and what kind of mark do you want to leave in this world. I want to leave you guys with that. I love you guys. I hope life is being fair to you. I hope and if it's not, I hope you are finding a way to still find gratitude and appreciation for even just being and being able to experience and to live, because that's why God created us, just to live, to experience, and to be. So I hope that you are finding peace during these chaotic times. I hope that you are finding love during these times where love is just not given out in the way that it should be. I love you guys. If you are not finding it, I promise you will find it here with me. Okay? I love you guys, and I'll be praying for you guys, for your healing, for your elevation, and for your growth, and to be seen in a world that likes to ignore. You guys have a good day and continue to blossom beautifully, because you're my lotus blossom beauties, my lotus buds. I love you guys. I'll see you later, gang. Gang, gang. See y'all later.